In this video, we'll walk you through step by step how to build your Trailmaster 200 XRS Go Kart. Before you begin, go to the video description and you'll find a list of tools needed to complete the assembly. Start by removing the shipping strut with a 14mm tool. An impact is easiest if you have one, but a wrench will work as well. Now set the shock in place and secure it using the nuts and bolts that were already there. Tighten all the way with a 14mm impact and wrench. Repeat the same steps on the other side for the second shock. Our unit came with this step already completed, so just double check yours, and if it was not completed on both sides, install the tie rod, tighten the castle nut, and insert the cotter pin. Next, take off this bag of parts and set it aside. You'll need these shortly. Take the dust seal and line the square hole up with the square hole on the nut. This helps keep dirt and grime out of the ball joint. Take this whole piece and slide it into place. Repeat the same steps on the other side. Take everything out of the parts bag and organize it nearby so it's easy to grab as you go. Here is everything that should be included in the parts bag. Thread a castle nut on the bottom and tighten with a torque wrench. Insert the cotter pin, then bend it with pliers so it stays securely in place. Repeat the same steps to install the castle nut on the other side. Here are the nuts you'll need for the front wheels. Place the tire onto the wheel studs. Thread 4 nuts by hand onto the wheel studs. Tighten the nuts fully using a 14mm impact following a cross pattern. Go around once for each nut, then repeat a second time to make sure they're fully secure. Put on this outer wheel bearing dust cover. There is a little groove on the wheel bearing. Push the cover until it is on the groove. Repeat the same process for the other front tire. Place the rear tire onto the rear axle. Place a washer on first, then thread a castle nut onto the axle. Tighten using an impact wrench. Insert the cotter pin, then bend it with pliers so it stays securely in place. Attach the cover just like we did on the front wheels. Repeat the same steps for the other rear tire. On both sides, line this piece up with the holes in the go-kart frame. Take 2 of the long bolts, each with a curved washer, and thread them through like this. Tighten them with a 10mm wrench, and make sure the washer is lined up properly around the bar. Here's how it should look once both sides are done. There are 2 spots on each side for the 2 roll cage bars to attach to. Once the bars are in place, insert and tighten the bolts, curved washers, and nuts, making sure the washers are lined up. We recommend inserting all the roll cage bolts from the outside in. Hold off on fully tightening them until the whole roll cage is assembled. Remember to repeat these steps on both sides. Attach the bottom of the side roll cage bar to the go-kart frame. Insert a long bolt with one of the curved washers through the main roll cage bar and into the sidebar. Insert another long bolt with two of the curved washers on the bottom and thread a nut onto the end. Repeat the steps for the other side roll cage bar. Place the roof piece on top between the roll cage bars. Insert one bolt with a curved washer in the back and one in the front. You might need someone to hold the bars while you thread the bolts. Then tighten them slightly with a 10mm wrench. Repeat these steps for the other side. Take this small bar and line it up with the two holes on each roll cage bar. Insert the two short bolts each with a curved washer and thread into the bar. Tighten slightly with a 10mm wrench. Go back and fully tighten all the nuts and bolts on the roll cage. You'll need a 10mm impact for the bolts and a 12mm wrench for the nuts. Make sure all the washers are properly fitted around the bars. Set the fuel tank in the back where it belongs. Make sure the contoured side faces out and the straight side faces in. Insert the 4 medium-sized bolts. Make sure all 4 are in place before fully tightening any of them. Now fully tighten all 4 bolts using a 12mm impact. Take the main fuel line from the tank and connect it to these 2 other tubes. Clamp it down so the fuel line stays secure. Connect the fuel line from the carburetor, which has the filter, to the petcock at the bottom of the tank. Again, use the clamp to secure the connection. Take the battery out of the box. Also included should be the bolts and nuts needed for the installation. Place the rubber plate in the bottom of the battery box, then set the battery on top. Connect your battery cables by inserting the nuts and bolts. Make sure positive goes to positive and negative goes to negative. Tighten the nut and bolt on both cables all the way using 10mm wrenches. Aim the battery cables downward as much as possible. Cover the nut and bolt on both cables with the protective caps. Then place the plastic cover over the battery, fitting the cables through the allotted slots. And securing everything down with the battery strap. connect the brake line plug. For each seat, line up the 2 holes on the bottom with the 2 posts and slide it into place. Insert the mirror into one of these holes, thread a nut on by hand, and then tighten it down fully with a 14mm socket. Adjust the mirror to your liking, then tighten it down with a wrench. Repeat these steps to install the other mirror. Grab the left front mud flap. Remove the 2 bolts and lock washers from the strut. Put the mud flap in place, then insert the 2 bolts and lock washers. Hand tighten first, then fully tighten with a 10mm impact. Repeat these steps for the right front mud flap. Starting with the left rear mud flap, remove this bolt. Once the bolt is removed, insert it through the frame with the bolt head facing inward. Then thread the mud flap onto the bolt. Repeat this process for the right rear mud flap. Tighten both mud flaps all the way with a 10mm impact. Using the 3 small bolts, attach the steering wheel. Line up the holes in the wheel with the holes in the steering plate. And fully tighten them with a 10mm impact. Snap the steering wheel button cover into place. Place this end of the roof cover on the front and use the Velcro to secure it to the frame. You will most likely need to add oil, but check the levels first just in case. Use the dipstick to do so. If any oil is needed, add a little bit, then check again. Do not start the go-kart without the proper oil levels. Add gas in the fuel tank. Using a valve core installer, make sure the valve core is tight in both rear tires. Once you've done that, inflate the tires. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more how to assemble videos and other power sports content.